Title: The Boy They Underestimated. Jason Lewis walked into the grand lobby of Hamilton and Company Bank, his small hands clutching a crumpled check. The 10-year-old had been sent by his mother to deposit a check into her account. Clad in a simple t-shirt and jeans, Jason's dark brown skin gleamed under the soft lighting of the bank. He took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of nervousness and excitement. This was his first time handling an errand like this on his own. He stepped up to the counter where a tall, well-dressed bank teller named Mr. Adams peered down at him through thin-rimmed glasses. Mr. Adams arched an eyebrow and sighed as he saw the boy standing there alone. "Yes?" he asked, his voice flat and uninterested. "Hi, sir. I'd like to deposit this check into my mom's account," Jason said politely, extending the slip of paper toward him. Mr. Adams took the check and glanced at the amount. His expression immediately hardened. The check was written for an amount much higher than what he expected a child to be carrying. He narrowed his eyes at Jason, then looked around as if searching for an adult who might be playing a prank on him. "And where is your mother?" he asked skeptically. "She's at work. She asked me to do this for her," Jason explained. "Oh, really?" Mr. Adams sneered. "And how exactly did you come by this check? Did you find it on the street? Or, perhaps, take it from someone?" Jason's stomach twisted. He could tell what the man was implying. "No, my mom gave it to me. She told me to deposit it into her account. You can check the name on it. It's hers." Mr. Adams chuckled without humor. "Nice try, kid. Do you think I'd believe that? A boy like you walking in here with a check this large?" Jason's face burned with embarrassment as he noticed other customers turning their heads, watching the exchange. A security guard by the door began to walk toward them, suspicion in his eyes. "Maybe we should call the authorities," Mr. Adams said, shaking his head. "We can't just let kids run around trying to pull stunts like this." Tears pricked Jason's eyes, but he refused to let them fall. He knew his mother always told him to stay calm and collected, no matter the situation. "Sir, you can call her if you want. She'll explain everything," he pleaded. "Oh, I'm sure she will," Mr. Adams muttered, waving to another teller. "Janet, get security to handle this. I think we've got a little thief on our hands." Jason's heart pounded. "I'm not a thief," he protested, but the security guard was already gripping his small arm, pulling him away from the counter. The murmurs in the bank grew louder, but no one spoke up for him. Just then, the glass doors of the bank swung open, and a woman in a sharp navy blue business suit strode in. She was tall, poised, and radiated an air of confidence. Her name was Evelyn Lewis, Jason's mother. She spotted the commotion immediately, and her eyes locked onto her son, now being held by the security guard. Her jaw tightened as she marched forward, her heels clicking against the marble floor. "What is going on here?" she demanded, her voice carrying a weight of authority that made the entire room fall silent. Mr. Adams turned, adjusting his tie, and put on a rehearsed customer service smile. "Ma'am, we were just handling an unfortunate situation. This young boy was attempting to deposit a check that clearly did not belong to him." Evelyn crossed her arms. "And what, exactly, made you assume that my son was incapable of depositing his mother's check?" Her voice was controlled, but there was fire in her eyes. Mr. Adams hesitated. "Well, you see, did you even bother verifying the account details before humiliating my child in front of everyone?" she interrupted, her voice like steel. The color drained from Mr. Adams' face. I was just being cautious. A boy his age, carrying a check that large, we had to be sure." Evelyn took a slow, deliberate step forward. "That large check? It was written by me. Do you know why?" She let the question hang in the air. "Because I am the majority shareholder of this bank. I own Hamilton and Company." "Bank." Gasps rippled through the lobby. Mr. Adams blinked rapidly, his face a mix of horror and disbelief. Mrs. Lewis, I had no idea. No, you didn't. She cut him off, her voice sharp. And that is the problem. Instead of following protocol, you assumed my son was a thief based purely on how he looked. You humiliated him, embarrassed him, and treated him as less than. Is that how you conduct business here? Mr. Adams fumbled for words, his hands shaking. It was a misunderstanding. It was discrimination, Evelyn corrected. And I will not tolerate it in my bank. She turned to the security guard still gripping Jason's arm. Let go of my son. Now. The guard immediately released Jason, stepping back as if he had touched fire. Jason ran to his mother, who wrapped a protective arm around him. Evelyn took a deep breath, then turned to the gathering crowd. To everyone here who watched as my son was humiliated, I ask you, would you have stayed silent if it were your child? Silence. A few people looked down, shamefaced. Others shuffled uncomfortably. We must do better. We will do better, she said, then turned to Mr. Adams. You are dismissed, effective immediately. Collect your things and leave. Mr. Adams stammered, Mrs. Lewis, please, Now, she said coldly. He swallowed hard and stumbled away, his career at the bank ending in disgrace. Evelyn turned back to Jason, cupping his face gently. Are you okay, baby? Jason nodded, still processing everything. Yeah, Mom, thank you. She smiled, pressing a kiss to his forehead. No one will ever make you feel small again. Not as long as I have breath in my body. Jason held his head higher as they left the bank, walking side by side, knowing without a doubt that he had the most powerful woman in the world on his side.